Lula, baby, what I say. Here comes Johnny singing, I got a woman down in the tunnel trying to make.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down. And the proof's in the results. It works.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go. In line with government regulations against traders hiking the price of hand sanitizers, report any trader selling out of the below prices to 020-864-2330 or 020-864-2333.
Stay safe. Go digital. Reduce the use of cash and the risk of contamination. Enjoy the convenience and security of PesaPap mobile banking and Family Bank internet banking solutions anytime, anywhere. During this period, money transfer services, PesaLink and balance inquiry from your Family Bank account across all channels are free. For customers with existing facilities who may need support or extension of their repayments, talk to us. Terms and conditions apply. Prevent COVID-19. Family Bank, with you for life. Family Bank is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Wacha nikuchanue juu ya spring mattress za Dr. Mattress. Kama chef, kazi yangu anasimama mchana yote. Kuchoka nayo. Hii mattress imetengenezwa na technology ya pocket springs. Ukilalia zina fit na mwili yako, kukupatia perfect support. Bei nayo ni affordable. Ebu harakisha nunua yako.
We, Kibabi University, are bound together by our strong belief in our core values: excellence, integrity, social responsibility, transparency, and accountability. Combined with our rich values of innovation in learning and academic freedom, we pride ourselves for being the fastest growing public university in producing champions for the job market and the world. Welcome to our world of expanding opportunities in computing, education, commerce, natural sciences, and social sciences. May and September 2020 intakes are open for postgraduate and undergraduate programs. Kibabi University, knowledge for development.
This is NTV.
The novel coronavirus is putting much of the world on hold. This global calamity has made scarcity the necessary condition for human survival. To try to slow the spread of the virus, people are being asked to avoid crowds and limit their travel. Religious communities are modifying their traditions. And this is what rush hour looks like now across the capital and much of the country. Shops, restaurants hunker behind shutters along with the people who fill them up. Emptiness proliferates like the virus as the nation settles into the third night of the nighttime curfew. Good evening and welcome to our extensive coverage of the day's happenings. This is NTV Weekend Edition, the top stories.
Tonight,
we have received confirmation that 4 people have tested positive.
The total number of cases is now at 42, and it's an anxious wait for results for those tested en masse. Also tonight,
mtupia rungu akampiga la mkono, akapoteza mwelekeo na kwenda mtaruni. Basi yule mwingine alifanikiwa kuruka akatoroka, lakini yeye akachangamkiwa vizuri sana.
A mix of grief and outrage as police stopped the burial of a victim of Friday's brutal crackdown in Mombasa. Plus, Dagoretti South MP's long Twitter coronavirus rant lands him in trouble.
Huwezi kusema uongo. Sana sana kulingana na vile tunaona, wewe uanze kuambia watu ati iko wagonjwa wengi kuliko wale tuko nao. Alafu unafikiria hiyo maneno itaenda tu hivyo hivyo.
And also tonight, social distancing does not have to mean distant from God. Welcome to Sunday service in the new age, the age of the coronavirus.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
Thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Flora Atieno. And as the coronavirus pandemic wave sweeps through the country, it has ripples of uncertainty over even the simplest of life's daily routines. Is it safe to touch the doorknob? Can you go to the gym or even hug your grandparents? Tonight, a panel of experts joins us from a safe distance via Skype to answer all your questions. Do stay tuned for that. We'll be introducing them in just a moment. And of course, we'll be sampling some of the questions that you've been relaying to us during the course of the day. But we begin on our top story tonight. Nairobi County continues to raise concern over the spread of the coronavirus, as out of the 4 new cases reported today, 3 are from the capital. The government is now racing against time to prevent the spread of the highly contagious disease that has now infected a total of 42 people spread out across 5 counties. Unisomolo reports.
The capital is under the weather as it hosts a total of 31 confirmed cases and as the national tally hits 42.
In our situation, in the last 24 hours, a total of 69 samples from suspected cases of coronavirus have been analyzed in our various laboratories. Out of those, we have received confirmation that 4 people have tested positive for the disease.
In just 7 days, the number of cases has risen by 26 since Monday, 23rd of March. There has been 1 recovery and 1 death, a 66-year-old male who has been receiving treatment for COVID-19 at the Aga Khan Hospital. After Nairobi, Kilifi is second with 6 confirmed cases. Mombasa reported 1 extra case out of the 4 new cases, bringing the total to 3. Kwale and Kajiado have 1 case each. Out of these cases, 24 are male and 18 female. Kenya ranks second in East Africa in the number of positive cases recorded. Rwanda has 60 patients receiving treatment for coronavirus, while Uganda has 30 patients under treatment. Tanzania has recorded 13 cases, while Burundi and South Sudan have not reported any case of COVID-19. Africa has 46 countries and 2 territories affected. The latest number showing 4,390 positive cases reported, 139 deaths from 20 countries, and a total of 244 recovered cases. Countries with the highest numbers of cases include South Africa at 1,187, Egypt with 576 cases, Algeria with 454, Morocco with 450, and Tunisia with 278 cases. Globally, the pandemic has afflicted 199 countries and territories with 683,835 cases reported, 32,168 deaths recorded, 146,397 people have recovered from the highly contagious disease.
Today marks the 16th of the daily update by the government on the spread of COVID-19 in the country. And in less than a month, the country is almost hitting the 50 mark of the number of positive cases reported in Kenya. While globally, the number of positive cases are 300,000 shy the 1 million mark. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
Immoral and unethical. That's Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe's assessment and condemnation of a long Twitter post by Dagoretti South Member of Parliament alleging the government's untruthfulness in the number of coronavirus cases in the country. The Member of Parliament was earlier today summoned by the DCI to provide more information on his claims, including an allegation that there are more than 7,000 people on forced quarantine, contrary to the government's figure of 2,500. Here's NTV's Ken Mijungu with the details.
This long thread posted on Twitter containing information on the coronavirus, which now the government flags as misinformation, is what has landed Dagoretti South Member of Parliament John Kiarie at the police station in Kabete in answer to summons by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations.
Sheria haijui mkubwa ama mdogo. Ukiwa umevunja sheria, utashtakiwa.
In an explosive rant, the legislator accused the government of downplaying the extent of the spread of the coronavirus. He claims there are more than 7,000 people in compulsory quarantine. The government now says his numbers are overly exaggerated, the information obviously false and alarming.
It is really, really wrong and disheartening for those particularly in leadership to continue perpetuating false information that have got nothing to do with the real cases, trying to gain political mileage.
We are doing what is in our power to do to this response. You understand that funds like NGCDF are not able to react to such an emergency.
According to the Minister of Health, there are only 2,050 individuals under compulsory quarantine. These are close contacts of those who have so far tested positive and they are in close observation.
Huwezi kusema uongo. Sana sana kulingana na vile tunaona, wewe uanze kuambia watu ati iko wagonjwa wengi kuliko wale tuko nao. Alafu unafikiria hiyo maneno itaenda tu hivyo hivyo. Sasa tukiruhusu watu wafanye hivyo jameni.
The government now wants politicians to keep off health matters and wants those peddling false information that action will be taken against them.
Ukiwa mwanasiasa, kama mimi ni mwanasiasa, tafadhalini, sisi wanasiasa, kwa wakati huu, washeni tuweke usiasa upande, tuwashie madaktari wasungumze habari ya hii ugonjwa, hii virusi, kwa sababu wewe sio daktari.
John Kiarie, aka KJ, a comedian turned politician, becomes the third Kenyan to be in trouble over publication of false information. Two bloggers are currently out on bond following the publication on social media unverified, alarming, and information the government says is false regarding the coronavirus. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
Well, certainly development will continue following up on. Now, the government says it's done all it can to deal with the outbreak, but there are fears that the healthcare system could be tested if the number of infections blows up. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says there are slightly over 1,000 ICU beds to cater for the most ill, but the government is still banking on citizens to help flatten the infection curve. NTV's Kennedy Mureithi has more details.
The threat posed by the coronavirus here in the country is manifesting itself in the numbers that continue to soar daily. On Monday this week, the country had a tally of 16 confirmed cases, but starts a new week at 42.
So we know that going forward, it is indeed very likely that our health facilities can and could be overrun by just the demands. And this is why we are saying this is not a government issue alone.
To this end, the government is now looking inward as it prepares for any eventuality.
We need to be looking as communities, in your villages, what are the secondary schools, particularly boarding secondary schools, that we can begin to identify as potential areas where we can keep the sick if the situation overruns.
That, he says, may be in the near future. For now, CS Kagwe says the government has done all it can, hailing efforts by health workers countrywide. The government also plans to recruit about 1,000 more health workers who will be deployed to different parts of the country.
We have got capacity for at least 1,000 beds that we are putting in addition to whatever else have existed in the past in terms of ICU capacity.
The CS says entities in the private sector have come together to complement government efforts to contain the virus. He called on private hospitals, which have been accused of charging exorbitant fees, to also join in.
The World Bank, for example, has donated 250 ventilators. That is in addition to everything else that we are buying.
Also, the government wants local markets to think outside the box and produce some of the material needed.
When it comes to personal protective gear, we are now at a place where we believe that starting next week, we can actually be able to start manufacturing those materials ourselves.
Within Kenya, there are more than 50 companies that are capable of providing some of these medical inputs.
Katika kila shida, lazima kuwe na opportunity. Kwa hivyo, opportunity ya kuamsha uwezo wetu wa kujitegemea.
Counties are also preparing for the worst as they now work closely with the government to increase the capacity to fight the virus.
Tumetengeneza county emergency response teams ikiwa pamoja na county commissioners, national government ikichanganyika na county national government na county government wakiwa wanafanya kazi pamoja.
But even as the government notes that it has not gotten to those unprecedented levels that require so much manpower to contain this particular disease, it is actually preparing you for the worst if you do not follow the guidelines that it is providing on a daily basis. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV in Nairobi County.
All right, thank you, Kennedy. A family in Matuga in Kwale County now want justice for their kin, who they claimed succumbed to injuries inflicted by police officers enforcing the nighttime curfew. The family claims the victim, a boda rider, was dropping an expectant woman to hospital when he encountered the officers. The family was, however, unable to bury him as police officers took his body away for a post-mortem exam. Kevin Mutai has more.
A dark and gloomy cloud enveloped the home of Hamisi Juma in Zibani village, Kwale County, where family and friends had gathered in a collective sense of loss at what was to be his final resting place. Juma's life was brutally cut short in the dying hours of Friday when police armed with batons came down hard on hundreds on the first night of the curfew. His family claims he died as a result of the internal injuries he sustained from the cruel beating.
Ali slow down, wakamtupia rungu, wakampiga la mkono. Akapoteza mwelekeo na kwenda mtaruni. Basi yule mwingine alifanikiwa kuruka, akatoroka. Lakini yeye akachangamkiwa vizuri sana. Tumboni alikuwa akilalamika maumivu chini huko ya tumbo, kifua, mbavu. Alipofika nyumbani, bwana walimpaki chapo paka akazirai.
The deceased was a boda rider. His family claims he was dropping an expectant mother at hospital, and at around 7:30 on his way back home he encountered the officers. He asked to be taken to hospital. At the moment he arrived home,
familia kwa sababu ya hofu haikumpeleka hospitali huo usiku, ilimtafutia huduma ya kwanza. Baadaye Jumamosi jana asubuhi akapelekwa Kwale wakamwangalia, wakaona hawawezani na hiyo kesi, wakamweka kwa ambulance paka Msambweni County Hospital. Walipofika Msambweni akaanza matibabu lakini bahati mbaya ilipofika saa 11 kasrobo leo asubuhi, Mwenyezi Mungu akachukua roho yake.
The family is now calling for investigations to be expedited and action taken against the officers responsible for his death.
Human rights zilizoko kwenye katiba bado zinafaa kutekelezwa kikamilifu. So we condemn all excessive use of force by the police in enforcing the curfew. At this level, we are going the wrong direction.
Yule ambaye alitenda kitendo hiki aweze kuchukuliwa hatua ili haki ipatikane.
The funeral, however, did not take place after police arrived and took away the body of the deceased to the Coast Provincial General Hospital in Mombasa for a post-mortem examination. The residents are now living in fear, anxious about what the curfew means for them in case of an emergency at home. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Well, meanwhile, police in Bungoma County are holding 3 pastors who are conducting Sunday service in defiance of the government's directive banning large gatherings. With guidelines on social distancing now in place to stop the spread of the coronavirus, many see the pandemic as an ultimate test of their faith. Zakis Mosame with the details from Bungoma.
It was meant to be a quiet Sunday as churches closed for the first time ever in the face of the coronavirus. But some could not resist what has been part of the daily routine for years. For Pastor Sostin Wafla of Repentance and Holiness Church in Ikibabi Village, Bungoma, guidelines on social distancing has got him and his congregants feeling a little distant from God. Police found him conducting prayers in a house he claims belongs to his mother. Pastor Kelvin Wafla of Jehovah's Witness Mayanja Vitungu branch also found himself on the wrong side of the law after he was caught by the police presiding over a service. He told police that he had only turned up to church for cleaning, but there were more than 10 people in the church, contrary to government directives.
Nabii daktari ametuambia mkae pamoja kama familia, msikae na watu wengine, kaa kama familia.
Hiyo sasa ni hiyo ni ahodi. Na Yesu ndiye amesema nini?
Sia. Sasa kuna maswali mengine ofisa.
Huwezi jibu.
Sina vile na usajibu kwa sababu yeye anatumikia nabii wa Mungu anatumikia Yesu.
Na tumewapata wahubiri wanaendelea. So tuliwaagiza kwamba wapate amri ya serikali, watu wafanye maombi, hajakataza maombi, waendelee kufanya maombi, waifanyie nyumbani. So tumewafukuza wale wako hapo na tumeongea na yule ambaye yuko in charge kwamba afunge hii mahali.
A few kilometers away in Mufutu village, Pastor Godfrey Njoroge of Apostolic Faith Ministries was also holding what the law now considers to be an illegal meeting. The police led by Kandui Assistant Commissioner Abdi Shakur raided his church and dispersed the gathering. All the 3 were arrested and are currently being held at the Bungoma police station. They will be arraigned on Monday. The arrests come just a day after police raided the St. Paul's Catholic Church in Kandui and crushed the King Catholic Church following reports that 2 priests and a number of nuns were conducting a mass.
I don't think it is the right time for us as a church, which should be the conscience of society, to inflict others with diseases.
The new regulations that have jolted daily life, a number of churches now have to address not just the physical concerns, but the spiritual ones as well, and have had to adjust to the new reality. Zakis Masame, NTV, Bungo.
Well, the government's directive to close churches and places of worship was in full effect today as churches moved their services from the physical buildings to the virtual world. Church services were either called off or worship carried out in other innovative ways. NTV's Brenda Wanga reports.
The churches may have closed their physical doors for Sunday service, but that hasn't stopped veteran pastor of the AIC Church in Cabernet from doing what he has been doing for years. Only this time round, he has taken his sermon outside and amplified it. His congregants still get their daily nourishment.
Maana watu wakijifungia nyumba bila sababu ya kuomba, basi watu watapotea na hawataweza kurejea kanisani tena.
Miles away in Machakos, Daniel Matheka is preparing for an unusual service. He will be on the pulpit, but for the first time, he will be preaching to an empty hall. He has moved online where his audience will be following the day's word. He knows that he is living in extraordinary times and has had to adjust accordingly.
To somebody outside there who I'm not seeing, maybe he's seeing me through the phone or through computer, but I'm not seeing him. And I'm speaking to somebody that I'm not hearing and that I'm not seeing. It is so funny. Things have changed to this much. And the Bible says, yes, God changes things.
The recipients of the online sermon are also making their own adjustments to accommodate the disruptions brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. On any other Sunday, Daniel Gashamuku, his wife, brother and children would have been sitting in the church pews to partake of the Sunday worship rituals. From the comfort of their home, they join others for an online church service. It isn't the ideal situation, but they are making the best of it.
Sasa tu ni kuabudu tu kwa nyumba, venye inaendelea hivi, na hii ni wakati mgumu sana kwetu kama kanisa. Wakati tunafaa kuwa kanisani tukiomba ndio watupate hiyo nafasi.
They are not the only ones who have had to seek spiritual nourishment virtually. While churches close their doors, perhaps for the first time in ages, the faithful are not missing out on the word. The closure of the churches is in line with the government's directive, urging people to minimize contact in a bid to slow down the spread of the COVID-19. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
All right, thank you, Brendan. Of course, we'll be taking a very short break here on NTV Weekend Edition, but I must remind you of what we will be doing after the break. And on the screen, what you see is two doctors, experts, will be joining us after the break just to answer some of the questions that have been posing for us with regards to the COVID-19, not only in the country, but globally. A lot of questions we've received from Kenyans, and we'll be trying as much as possible to try and cover most of the questions that you've asked. And just to introduce them very quickly, we do have Dr. Gitai Githinji, who is the CEO of Amref Health Africa Group. I believe he is on my right, as well as on my immediate left is Dr. Paul Yonga, who is an infectious diseases and tropical medicine specialist. He is joining us from Eldoret, and you can see it is in the spirit of social distancing. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back.
The first time I held you, I fell in love with you, and I knew there was something great in you. I can't help but think of the legacy you will leave. I'm proud of who you have become. From mere ambitions to bigger challenges, from having that dream to actually living it, from moving out to settling your family in this dream home.
Every day, we endeavor to provide you with the best real estate solutions. Own your dream home at Victory Gardens, just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Nyaja wa Kenya, hii ni public service announcement kuhusu coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health advises all returnees from abroad to self-quarantine for at least 14 days, whether they feel well or unwell.
Wash your hands regularly following the 8 steps of hand washing. Wet hands with warm water. Apply a small amount of soap. Rub palms together. Rub fingers and thumbs and the bits in between. Rub nails on palms. Rub the back of each hand. Rinse with clean running water and dry thoroughly with a clean dry towel.
Furthermore, it is advisable to cover your mouth and nose adequately when sneezing or coughing and immediately dispose of the tissue in a dustbin. Please do not use handkerchiefs if you can avoid it. If disposable tissue is unavailable, cough into your elbow. Try and avoid close contact with anyone showing signs of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing.
Before you share any coronavirus information on social media, please verify it with Ministry of Health to avoid panic and alarm among your fellow Kenyans.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Welcome to the conferencing service.
Emma, carry on, Ken.
First quarter sales, they're up 90%.
Very good, very good.
We are looking at a 55 billion shilling profit by the end of the financial year.
Now we are talking. Here we talk billions. Very good. I gotta go. Wacha niendelee na kazi.
A person has left the conference.
Niko nyumbani. Downloads are very fast. Streaming, eco. And I'm just working from here. Stay connected and work from the convenience of wherever you are. Fiber to the home.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down. And the proof's in the results. It works.
To the out-of-framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Join the millions that have switched to Dettol Even Tone, now also in pomegranate fragrance, a healthier skin for an even better you. Brought to you by the Kenya Consortium of Medical and Health Professionals. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Female genital mutilation is one of the worst forms of gender-based violence that is meted on girls and women worldwide. According to UNICEF, more than 200 million girls and women alive today have been cut worldwide, and 9.3 million have undergone the cut in Kenya. Another 3 million girls are at risk of undergoing the cut every year. Therefore, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta has committed to end FGM in Kenya by the year 2022. Ending FGM is the responsibility of every Kenyan. Kukomesha ukeketaji ni jukumu langu, jukumu lako na jukumu letu. Pamoja tukomeshe ukeketaji kufikia mwaka wa 2022. This message is brought to you by the Anti-FGM Board in collaboration with UNICEF Kenya.
Birthday party.
Birthday party. Birthday party. Are we not invited? We have gifts. Malaria.
Mommy, pest.
Run!
Oh, die!
Party!
Compared to an ordinary spray, Mortein Doom Power Guard kills disease-causing pests instantly. Mortein Doom Power Guard.
Ever thought of owning a place you call your home? Mahiga Homes is turning your long life goal into a reality in a period of 10 months. 25-minute drive from Nairobi CBD in a fast-developing area on exit 11 of the thickest superhighway in a serene environment with all social, economic and health amenities within reach. 2 million Kenya shillings as a deposit and the balance in flexible installments. Mahiga Homes, creating smiles.
Thank you so much for joining us and of course continuing to stay with us on NTV Weekend Edition. And as we promised, we have our panel of experts to answer some of your questions on the pandemic. Let me quickly introduce them to you. First up, we do have Dr. Paul Yonga, who is an infectious diseases and tropical or travel medicine specialist and also a clinical epidemiologist. And also next to him, we do have Dr. Gitai Githinji, who's the CEO of the Amref Health Africa Group. We were hoping to get Dr. Frank Njenga, who's a leading psychiatrist, to touch on issues to deal with the impact of the COVID-19 on psychology and, of course, the mental health impact of it. But we hope to also get him. But before that, of course, we will be talking to Dr. Gitai as well as Dr. Paul. And we'll begin with the questions that we've sampled online that you've been able to send to us. And we begin with the first questions, which we hope Dr. Gitai will answer. So listen.
Is COVID-19 considered a biological weapon that may have been used to control population, and was it manufactured in the laboratory? Thank you.
Dr. Gitai, I'm not sure if... Yes.
Yes, I had the question. Can I go ahead and try and respond to that?
Of course.
And yeah, and I'm happy for Paul to add if he feels there's something to add, but we have absolutely no evidence that the virus was manufactured in a lab. In fact, as I think somebody said, to imagine that human beings made the coronavirus is to give ourselves too much credit.
Right.
Viruses have existed. Coronaviruses have existed for a very long time. We know they have caused diseases of respiratory tract over and over. And this particular one is, we believe, is just a mutation or a change on what we know on the coronavirus. And therefore, that's why we are calling it a new virus, because we are not used to it. But it's similar to all the other coronaviruses that we have in the past. So I would say, no, there is no such evidence. And therefore, we should look at this as a natural mutation of existing family of viruses.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gitai. Let's get the second question, which Dr. Paul will answer.
My question was, can someone transmit COVID-19 without showing signs?
Paul, just to clarify that, he's asking, can someone transmit the virus without showing any symptoms?
Yes, indeed. This is a virus that, as compared to many others, the only difference is that a number of patients can present very asymptomatically, actually not show any symptoms completely before they actually start showing symptoms as you continue going along the disease spectrum. So as we speak right now, a lot of patients can actually walk around without any symptoms or signs of the disease.
Mm-hmm.
When they actually develop signs of the disease, symptoms and signs of the disease, it could be probably 5 to 6 days into the disease spectrum right after infection. So indeed, it is very true. You can actually walk around with the disease without showing any symptoms or signs.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for that. Let's get the third question from another Kenyan.
My name is Sidu Cheng from Rongai. I reside in Rongai. And my question is, now we are being told that the virus currently cannot be cured. Rather, there's no vaccine for this coronavirus. And there have been some cases that many people have been cured. So my question is, how does this happen? How?
Dr. Gitai?
Yeah, you see, many viruses will come into your body and they will go away. It doesn't mean that when they get into the body that they stay there for life. There are some, like we know the HIV, when it gets into the cell, then it stays in the body for life and you can only control it. But many viruses, including the common cold virus, including the influenza virus, they will come to your body over time and they'll disappear. And then maybe you get infected again. So coronavirus is like that. So when we say there's no cure for the virus, we are not saying that the virus stays in you for life. It means that when you have an active infection of that virus, there is no medicine we can give you to reduce the infection. Your body will fight it itself. But either way, if it doesn't, it will go through, the body will fight it and it will disappear. So when we say people are cured, it means the virus came into their body, has probably caused some symptoms, but their body has overcome the virus and now they are virus free. And that happens to many other viruses that we have. So, meaning that doesn't have a cure, that means it stays in the body forever. So that's really what's going on. But it means that even the people we say have been cured, it means now they're virus free because the body has fought off the virus, but they could get infected again, just like in a common cold. When you get a common cold, it comes, it goes, and later you can get a common cold again. So this is how this particular virus would behave, just like the other normal viruses.
Great. Thank you so much for that explanation. Now the next question goes to Dr. Paul. Let's listen in.
Hi, NTV. We have a question.
Thank you, Bradley. Our question is, how do we handle the stuff that we come back home with from the supermarkets? How do we disinfect them or just make them safe for our families? Thank you.
Dr. Paul, I'm not sure you had that as well. The audio wasn't the best, but the lady is asking, how can, when you bring things from the supermarket, ensure that they're well disinfected so that it does not affect the other members of the family?
Yes, so in a number of situations, I think the basic hygienic measures really matter a lot. Making sure that as much as possible, you wash your hands as frequently as possible. If you have a hand sanitizer with you that has at least 60% alcohol, that's good enough as well. Making sure that you have good respiratory hygiene, that will probably be what will help you a lot within the supermarket. Because as you pick up your things, as you're actually doing your shopping, then you go with them to the house, it will be very good that before you open up or before you embark on any procedure, be it cooking, be it unwrapping of your whatever you've bought, it will be nice that you actually practice very good hygiene, making sure that you wash your hands in between and as much as possible so that you really limit chances of getting infection. In terms of disinfection, depends on what exactly you've bought. I wouldn't really recommend you disinfecting everything that you've bought. What you can actually do is just making sure you wash your hands as frequently as possible, especially if you're in the house. Good soap and water will do the trick.
All right, thank you. So very high standards of hygiene there being recommended. We're going to just take a look at some of the other questions that we were asked on the other platforms which did not entail a video platform. And Sam Oindi from Nairobi did ask, rumors are doing round that there is a natural remedy for coronavirus. This includes edible fruits used by the Indians for stomach problems. Can this be confirmed to ascertain the truth, Dr. Githinji?
Well, we use science, we use evidence, and based on science and evidence that's available, we do not have evidence of any uses of local medicine or whatever it is that cures the coronavirus. So I would say no. Observe hygiene, as Dr. Paul has said. Do not believe that there will be a cure that is somewhere without having been confirmed by WHO, by the Ministry of Health, by the people who are dealing with this disease. Therefore, believe that the virus has currently no cure. The virus has currently no vaccine. And the virus, the main thing that we can do right now is for us to observe changes in our behavior to keep ourselves and to keep those we love safe.
Right.
And those changes in our behavior include good hygiene. And I would hope they're not just changes that we have actually been observing this through our lives, that we wash hands regularly with soap and running water. Running water here doesn't mean it has to be out of a tap. It can be water pouring out of a can, as long as it's running off your hands as running water with soap for at least 20 seconds, because evidence, science shows that within 20 seconds, the soap will be able to kill the virus. And secondly, keep physical distance, because then that reduces the chances of you coming in contact with the virus. But we have no evidence that any of medicine from any part of the world, whether it's traditional or not, has actually been proven. And there are tests going on, but we have no evidence that there is any traditional medicine that can be used against the virus now.
All right, fantastic. Dr. Paul, is it safe to go to the gym for exercise? Vincent Osongo from Kisumu is asking.
Well, but as we've advocated for as much as social distancing as much as possible, that also applies to the gym. It doesn't mean that it's safe or not. What I would most recommend is that you just continue your normal routine as normal, but now you'll have to implement some of the physical distancing measures that have been advocated. So if your treadmills are probably, say, say less than a meter, you probably now need to space your treadmills at least 1 meter or 2 meters in between. Make sure that where you're doing your weights, it's really spread out. So it's really not to tell people to avoid the gym. but if possible, you'd want to go to the gym when it's not quite crowded. That's the best I think we could actually do it right now. But it's not completely avoiding the gym at all costs. But if the gym is crowded, we probably wait until the crowd eases off before you get in.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Paul. Dr. Githinji, also because we're running out of time and we have a lot of questions, a question here that I'm going to pick is from Robert Wandera from Busia County asking, can a breastfeeding mother infect her child corona through breast milk?
Well, this question has been asked before, and we have no evidence. Again, I have not seen, and it's been checked that coronavirus can be passed through breast milk. So scientists have not been able to identify any virus in breast milk, even for infected people. But also remember that actually the coronavirus infects the lungs. It infects the lungs. It doesn't necessarily infect the blood system. It infects the lungs. And within the lungs, therefore, it has to get in through, the nose, through the throat, into the lungs. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when a child is breastfeeding, the biggest risk for the child may be if the mother herself has coronavirus and is coughing or is not maintaining good hygiene, then the child may get coronavirus into their lungs. Mm-hmm. But there's no evidence that breast milk would actually transmit coronavirus to the baby. None that I'm aware of.
All right. Thank you. And maybe lastly, Dr. Paul, another case is how can one recover due to isolation? Because we've been told we should isolate ourselves just in case we start getting those symptoms of flu. Why? What is the importance of isolation when it comes to this?
Yeah, so the main purpose of isolation is really to make sure that you limit yourself from coming into contact with other people that you may actually infect with COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And this is just to make sure that you really stay away from them as much as possible. Remember, we've said that in a number of cases, these people can actually be asymptomatic. They may not even actually know that they have the disease, but by the mere fact of them having been to a high-risk area, or by them actually coming in and showing signs of fever, signs of a dry cough, it already shows that they're now coming into, they're actually developing symptoms of the disease. So what we're really trying to prevent is to actually transmitting this disease onto other people. So as much as possible, the moment you start feeling some of these symptoms, it is good to self-isolate. I think now the government policy right now is that the government is the one to isolate you. But in other countries which has literally been overwhelmed by lack of hospital beds, it is really advisable that you self-isolate completely, make sure that as much as possible wear a mask and try and avoid people within the household as much as you can. So really the main essence of isolation is to prevent yourself from infecting other people within and surrounding your vicinity.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Paul. And maybe before I let both of you go, a very important question here that keeps recurring all the time. At Vincent Njiru here asking on Twitter, what are the respiratory conditions one is likely to develop after recovering from COVID-19? And can it recur after you've already recovered? Dr. Githinji, maybe you can finish us on that.
Well, I would say again, the coronavirus affects or infects the lungs and makes the lungs have difficulty in breathing. So it's a form of pneumonia, and it causes this difficulty in breathing. What we know now is that after some time, because there's no treatment, you have to receive oxygen, support. And please remember that the pneumonia does not develop into moderate or severe in very many people. Almost 2 out of 10 are the ones who develop this severe pneumonia. The rest of 8 will just have some mild symptoms and will be okay. So people need not panic. Now, the people who develop the pneumonia, if it takes long, we know that some of them develop some hardening of the lungs, what we call fibrosis, and that fibrosis could result in some longer-term difficulty in breathing. But when you heal, the difficulty in breathing will reduce. Some people may retain it for a longer time, and others will disappear once the pneumonia is treated. So, but it is really the symptoms of cough, high fever, which disappears once treated, difficulty in breathing, which requires support with oxygen, depending on the extent of it. And then after that, you may have some residual fibrosis, which may resolve, or some of it may stay a little longer. We don't have enough time because it's only about 4 months since we discovered this new virus. So we need more time to look at long-term effects of the infection of the coronavirus. That's what I would say. But stay safe, don't panic, take care of yourself, keep physical distance, and wash your hands regularly.
Indeed. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, Dr. Gitai Githinji, who's the CEO of AMREF Health Africa Group, as well as Dr. Paul Yonga, who is an infectious diseases and tropical travel medicine specialist. We do appreciate extremely much the very important input that you've been able to share with Kenyans across the country with regards to the spread of the COVID-19. Well, we'll be taking a very short break here on NTV Weekend Edition. We still have a lot we've lined up for you. Stay with us.
Melissa?
Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Wow! Inakompresiwa na 50 tons of force, alafu inarolpakiwa. Hii iliniashua itani last kuliko mattress zingine zote nimekuwa nikinunua.
Selena!
Toto, where is mommy?
Today's a toilet day.
What? Oh.
Selena!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow we're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
It's a toilet, not a white shirt. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with bleach and detergent, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible.
Challenge. Harpic 10X. Even if you use bleach and detergent 10 times, they won't give you the same sparkling clean toilet that Harpic 10X will give you.
Wow!
Harpic 10X. Harpic, Kenya's #1 toilet cleaner.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Usingoje hadi dakika ya mwisho. Pimwa kwenye hospitali ya serikali. Matibabu inapatikana bila malipo. TB inakinga na tiba.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizop technology, to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. President Uhuru Kenyatta on Wednesday spelled out a raft of measures aimed at putting money in the pockets of Kenyans, even as many are staring at an uncertain future, with jobs being lost as businesses grind to a halt following the spread of the COVID-19. Many are still asking, how exactly will this put money in their pockets? Well, Julian Zamboko does a scenario analysis with one of the tax proposals.
I, as your president, do today order and direct that the National Treasury moves to Parliament to offer the following immediate reliefs: an increased disposable income to the people of Kenya through A 100% tax relief for persons earning a gross monthly income of up to Kenya shillings 24,000.
These proposals by President Uhuru Kenyatta have left many wondering just how they will actually put money into their pockets and ease the burden of the cost of living. Let's try and make sense of it. Your income is taxed this way. The first 12,298 shillings is taxed at a rate of 10%. The next 11,587 shillings, which takes your total taxable income to 23,885 shillings, is taxed at a rate of 15%. The next 11,587 shillings, which takes your total taxable income to 35,472 shillings, is taxed at a rate of 20%. And the next 11,587 shillings, which takes your total taxable income to 47,059 shillings, is taxed at a rate of 25%. Anything above 47,059 shillings is taxed at a rate of 30%, hence the popular 30% pay as you earn tax. Assuming you're on a gross monthly income of 24,000 shillings, what do the changes proposed by President Uhuru Kenyatta mean for your pocket? Currently, your gross monthly income falls under two bands. The first 12,298 shillings will be taxed at a rate of 10%, putting the tax payable at 1,229 shillings and 80 cents. The remaining 11,702 shillings is taxed at a rate of 15%, which then adds an additional 1,755 shillings and 30 cents to your taxes. And therefore, cumulatively, 3,053 shillings and 30 cents is owed from your pocket to the Kenya Revenue Authority in taxes. But remember, you're entitled to 1,408 shillings in personal relief every month, so this is deducted from your tax, making your total tax payable to stand at 1,645 shillings. So presently, if you have a gross monthly income of 24,000 shillings, your actual take-home is about 22,400 shillings. Of course, this is before the statutory deductions of NHIF and NSSF.
So in order to protect jobs,
but the President has now proposed that any gross monthly income that stands at 24,000 shillings and below be granted 100% tax relief. So how does this change your tax computation? For a gross monthly salary of 24,000 shillings, your tax rate now stands at 0%. Effectively, you are not subject to any tax if your income stands within this band. Also critical to note then is that since your income is now rendered tax-free, the initial personal relief of 1,408 shillings is also kicked through the window, since by law, personal relief is only deductible from tax payable. So whereas in the present tax regime with a gross income of 24,000 shillings, your take-home before other statutory deductions is about 22,500 shillings, if Parliament gives a green light to the President's proposals, then you'll be having an extra of about 1,500 shillings, and that's how that proposal actually puts extra money into your pocket. Julian's Amboko, NTV.
All right, thanks, Julians, for that. Well, we take another short break here on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, we'll bring you other stories making headlines globally, as well as some sporting action.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go. In line with government regulations against traders hiking the price of hand sanitizers, report any trader selling out of the below prices to 020-864-2330 or 020-864-2333.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Basic protective measures as guided by the World Health Organization. Clean hands frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
This breathable surface, developed with Airsoft technology, is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I've found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Nyaje wa Kenya, hii ni public service announcement kuhusu coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health advises all returnees from abroad to self-quarantine for at least 14 days, whether they feel well or unwell.
Wash your hands regularly following the 8 steps of hand washing. Wet hands with warm water. Apply a small amount of soap. Rub palms together. Rub fingers and thumbs and the beads in between. Rub nails on palms. Rub the back of each hand. Rinse with clean running water and dry thoroughly with a clean dry towel.
Furthermore, it is advisable to cover your mouth and nose adequately when sneezing or coughing and immediately dispose of the tissue in a dustbin. Please do not use handkerchiefs if you can avoid it. If disposable tissue is unavailable, cough into your elbow. Try and avoid close contact with anyone showing signs of a respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing.
Before you share any coronavirus information on social media, please verify it with Ministry of Health to avoid panic and alarm among your fellow Kenyans.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Parenting is all about learning when to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Thank you for staying with us. A police officer in Chennai in India has gone above and beyond his usual line of duty to sensitize residents. Officer Rajesh Babu has found a new way to draw the attention of the public when it comes to taking precautions against the COVID-19 outbreak. The officer wears a helmet designed like the coronavirus. He dons the helmet every time he is on duty on the Chennai streets. He explains that the helmet is supposed to make people take pandemic seriously. The helmet was designed by a local artist. India is on a 21-day lockdown to limit the spread of the virus. The country has reported 987 cases and 25 deaths. Well, you can see everyone is making their own effort in different ways just to raise awareness and sensitize people on the coronavirus. We take another break. We'll be back with more.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go.
The first time I held you, I fell in love with you, and I knew there was something great in you. I can't help but think of the legacy you will leave. I'm proud of who you've become. From mere ambitions to bigger challenges, from having that dream to actually living it, from moving out to settling your family in this dream home.
Every day, we endeavor to provide you with the best real estate solutions. Own your dream home at Victory Gardens, just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Swaddling needs a blanket and helps your baby feel safe and secure as she adjusts to life outside the womb. Spread your baby's blanket out on a flat surface. Place your baby face up on the blanket. Their head should sit above the folded corner. Straighten your baby's arms, then take the sides of the blanket and wrap it over their arms and chest. Loosely twist the bottom of the blanket and tuck it underneath your baby. At this point, your baby is fully covered.
Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Bye diapers. Choose Kids.
All right, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And as Kenya tackles the coronavirus pandemic, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya has taken to social media in a campaign aimed at containing the spread of the deadly virus. According to NOC Secretary General Francis Mutuku, the campaign was born out of the realization that sports people have a lot of influence which can be channeled to inspire behavioral change. The campaign, which started last week, has seen athletes including world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge, world champion Hellen Obiri and javelin ace Julius Yego, footballers Harambee Stars captain Victor Wanyama and goalkeeper Patrick Batasi, as well as Kenya Sevens captain Andrew Amonde, among others, post messages of advice on how to tackle the deadly coronavirus, as well as messages of hope. And as a way of preventing coronavirus spread in the country, the Johanna Omolo Foundation has donated hygiene kit and foodstuff worth 50,000 shillings. The donation of cooking oil, rice, flour, sugar, hand wash, soaps and many more basic necessities was delivered to the residents of Dandora by the foundation's chairman Godfrey Okoti. The foundation, run by the Harambee Stars midfielder, who plays for Cercle Brugge in Belgium, also distributed educational materials for educating the community about the deadly virus. In a statement on social media, the foundation also urged well-wishers to chip in. This move comes in the wake of fellow Harambee Stars players Victor Wanyama and Eric Ouma also donating to the COVID-19 cause. It will be a long battle. That is the stark message issued by Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe regarding his country's ability to fight and contain the virus. The eyes of the sporting world are on Japan, which was set to host the Tokyo Olympics in July and which have since been postponed to 2021.
At this stage, we're not in a situation that requires declaring the state of emergency, but we are on the edge. We continue to be on the brink. So the question is when this battle against the coronavirus will be over. I don't think any national leader in the world could answer the question at this stage. Neither can I. In order to hold the Olympics, not only Japan, but also the world needs to overcome this battle.
Meanwhile, the UEFA president has told the Italian newspaper La Repubblica that there were a number of options for concluding the season, which has been brought to a halt around Europe by the pandemic. According to him, there is a plan A, B and C, which are options to start again in mid-May, at the start of June or at the end of June. The head of European soccer's governing body, the current season could be lost if it is unable to restart by the end of June, although he did not rule out extending it into next season. Well, missing your weekly fix of televised football action due to the coronavirus? Well, worry not, as the Belarusian Premier League can fill the void as it signs a string of new broadcast deals. The league organizers have said they have no intention of postponing matches or cancelling the season it began earlier this month. While most of its teams are known to the majority of football fans, the league is making the most of stoppages to the world's top leagues. The decision to carry on and even allow fans into stadium has helped the Belarus Football Federation get broadcasting deals with sports networks in 10 countries, including Russia, Israel and India, where fans have been left with no live sports action to watch. All right, so if you cannot watch the English Premier League or the Champions League, you do have the Belarusian Premier League. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. This is where we wrap it. Our sign language interpreter this evening was Flora Atieno from the entire team that made this possible, including our director, CK, as well as Sheila Sendeo, our producer. My name is Zainab Ismail. Thank you once again for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing, the rest of your evening as well. Stay safe and stay at home.
This is NTV.
Good morning, Janet.
Wow! And you are?
I'm Casey. Now help you with anything to do with your KCB bank account. Pay bills, transfers, statements.
You're hired.
I'm your internet banking security ninja. I'm your 24/7 personal assistant.
Super.
So, we can always talk about your account, online, whenever you like. Need a ride?
Let's go.
Alrighty. With you anywhere, anytime.
Register at your nearest branch for KCB Internet Banking today.
When you're facing stubborn stains, you're always in a fierce fight. Clean Soft kicks out stains. Kimateki.
Introducing Jomo Kenyatta International Airport's new parking payment options. Through the automated parking system, you can now pay for parking in 3 stress-free ways. Using M-Pesa through the USSD code *486 *12#, or using cash at the CAPS payment points located in the parkings, or using your preloaded CAPS A card. No payment will be done at the exits. Experience stress-free parking with Kenya Airports Authority. Kenya Airports Authority, setting our sights high.
We have come from far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Things are thick. Think kama yeye penzi lenye umepaka kwa macho.
Na wewe, unamjuaje? I was his fiance.
Cheka storo kibao na 200% storo bonus. Piga simu zaidi, tuma SMS au nunua bundles ufikishe target yako leo. Isitoshe, pata 50% extra airtime unapo top up na kupiga *544*2* amount #. Safaricom.